Okay, Dr. Scott, Matthew here with freeprescriptionlenses.com, and I'm going to show you how I cut your prescription lenses for your RayBan 2132 new Wayfarer color 812, which is the rare green rubber in a 55 eye size. So let's begin. I'm going to take your frame out of the packaging it comes in. This is your RayBan case, your RayBan frame, your RayBan cleaning cloth, which is upside down. Of course, why does that not surprise me? I'm going to put all this stuff down. This is your frame, the green rubber, and you ordered this because it reminds you of your days back when you were at Fort Bragg here in North Carolina, good old Army green. So I'm going to pop your lenses out, these heavy glass lenses, and I'm going to cut very lightweight, unbreakable, bulletproof lenses for your rare RayBan green rubber frames. I'm going to put your Italian frame into my Italian Santinelli LE1000 patternless edger. The stylus is now tracing the shape of your left lens, and now it's going to move over and trace the right. Here at freeprescriptionlenses.com, where everyone loves a bargain and no one is disappointed with quality. You buy the frame and you get free single vision lenses with that. Either prescription or non-prescription lenses, just for fashion. I will cut whatever you need. So I'm going to pull the shape of your lens up. Your pupillary distance is 68. I'm going to type that into the computer now. And this is a polycarbonate lens. I'm going to cut it for a Xyle frame, and I just know the 55 eye size cuts a little bit large, and with your lenses I know it's going to be tight anyway, so I'm going to take it down 1/4 millimeter to get started. So your lenses read plus 250 minus 50 at 62. I'm going to spin the axis wheel of my Marco 101 lensometer to 62. I'm going to spin the power drum to plus 250. Now I'm going to put your lens in and rotate it until the sphere power comes into focus of plus 250. I'm going to check the cross curve, which is your astigmatism. That lines up perfectly. I'm going to put a couple dots on your lenses. I'm going to darken these so you can see them at home. And this is the right lens. Now let me do the same thing for the left. This is a +3 spherical lens, so I'm going to put the power drum at +3. I type it in. I do not have to rotate the lens because there is no astigmatism correction. And I'm just going to put a simple 1 dot in the center, which is the optical center. Now I need to put a block on your lens while it's cutting. This is what's going to hold it in the lathe while it is cutting. So I'm going to put this block into my speedy blocker. I'm going to put the pad on there. The black side was the sticky side. Of course, I'm going to pull away the tape to make both sides sticky. And now I'm going to stick this down onto your lens. Essentially what I'm doing is I have an optical crosshair, vertically and horizontal meridian, and I made sure to put that red dot dead center in front of your pupil. I'm going to do the same thing now for the left lens. The black side is the sticky side. Stick that on there, pull the tape away to make both sides sticky. Now I'm going to put that down onto the left. I'm going to put your right lens into the Chuck, the Charles, because I don't know it well enough to call it Chuck. And the stylus is going to, I'm sorry, not the stylus, the calipers are going to come down and trace the concave side of the lens first, which is closest to your eyelashes. Then it's going to move over and trace the convex side of the lens, which sits away from the face, all the while measuring the thickness of the lens to know exactly where to place the bevel. The cutting wheel is down here on the left. It is that lighter color wheel, which is like a heavy grit sandpaper that's going to grind away your lens material. This wheel in the center with that channel, that little valley, that's what's going to put the bevel onto the lens so it stays inside the bevel of the frame. I will have to close the door as your prescription lenses are cutting, but for now I just want you to see as your lens, right lens touches down onto the cutting wheel. It is now 8:16 on Monday, May 12th, 87 degrees in my hometown of Durham, North Carolina, at least according to my Samsung Gear 2 watch. So your prescription reads, your right eye reads plus 250 minus 50 at 62. Your left eye is a +3 sphere. These would almost be reading glasses for me, but they are distance lenses for you. You are farsighted. So, and the unit of measurement in the optical world is called a diopter, spelled D-I-O-P-T-E-R. It's in quarter increments. 0 means no prescription. 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, 0.1, and 1, and so on. You're at 250, so you need 10 steps of correction. to make everything the correct size. With your glasses on, off, everything is too small, so your lenses will actually magnify everything to the correct size. You need 2 steps of correction for astigmatism, and there is a stigma over the word astigmatism. It just means shape. Someone has straight hair, someone has curly hair. That is it. It's not a disease. It's not an affliction. It comes and goes. It fluctuates. Everybody chill. All astigmatism does is cause everything to be blurry. So this first number, plus 250, gets everything the correct size. The second number takes away fuzzy edges, so 6s and 8s, and the letters P and F do not look alike. The 62, essentially that clear thing up, that's like the fine-tune button, and that 62 tells me where to fine-tune things at. At the top of this card, well, if we had a circle, we'd have 0, 90, 180, 270, and back to 0. So we're going to turn that knob to 62 to clear everything up, to take away the fuzzy edges. So let's see if your lens will fit. I'm going to take your lens out of the chuck, the Charles, dry that off. And now, you still have a little bit of rough edges that I want to smooth out before I mount your lens. I'm going to place it on this handstone, which is completely flat. I can put my finger on it while it's running, and my finger does get warm due to the friction, but that's it. But that friction allows me to put on what's known as the safety bevel. And if you see that white powdery substance around the edge of your lens, I'm going to use my thumbnail to scrape all that off, and once that's off of your lens and onto the counter, then I wipe it onto the floor. Because I make a mess. I'm back here in the lab. It's supposed to be messy. It shows that I've been working on things. So I'm going to test to make sure your lens fits. I'm going to hold the frame upright, and I'm going to have the side I'm working on closest to me. I tuck it in at the outside corner, and then using my thumbs, I try and press down at the nose. It will not go in, so I'm going to take it down 1/10 of a millimeter and hit retouch. Now your lens will not go onto the cutting wheel this time. It's going to bypass that and go straight to the bevel wheel, which is in the middle. It's going to take 1/10 of a millimeter off around the circumference of your lens. And because you're in Dallas, which is part of America, most people don't know what a millimeter is. A millimeter is the distance between my thumbnails. And I'm going to take 1/10 of that distance off going around the circumference of your lens. You can always make a lens smaller. You can never make it larger. So I start off a little bit large, and then I work my way down. If you notice, the water jets have kicked in. Up till now, the polycarbonate cuts dry, where plastic and high index lenses cut wet. This has been cutting dry. The water's just coming in to wash away any optical debris, which of course I'm about to put more on there, but it's doing its part. It's trying to help. I'm going to let it. I just wanted to let it feel good about itself, that it tried. Okay, so I'm going to take this out of the chuck. And I'm going to go back to the safety bevel real quick, real fast. This time I'm not even going to drop it on the counter. I'm just going to use my thumbnail to scrape it off your lens and let it fall right on the floor. Now let's go ahead and get your lens mounted into your army green rubber frames. So I'm going to tuck it in at the outside corner closest to me, and then using my thumbs, it snaps in perfectly. So let's go ahead and do your left lens. Flip that over to left and hit the start button. Just like before, the calipers are going to come down and trace this concave side of the lens first, and then it's going to move over and trace the convex side. Hopefully we can get a good view of the cutting wheel now. Camera 1, camera 2. Camera 1, camera 2. Which do you like better? How about camera 3 in the middle? Round and round. Boots and pants and boots and pants and boots and pants and boots and pants. Man, that Geico ad has been stuck in my head all day. So it's now, your left lens is about to touch down onto the cutting wheel. As it does, I will continue to work on the right lens. So this block is no longer needed. I'm going to pull that off. Pull that sticker away. I'm going to leave those red dots on there because I will need to measure that in a little bit. But I'm going to put It should still be on 62. It is. I'm going to put your lens in, my lensometer. I'm going to put that red dot right there in the center and line everything up. I'm getting plus 250, which is exactly halfway between 2 and 3. Check your half a diopter of astigmatism, and I have plus 2. So if you have plus 250 and then subtract 50, we end up with plus 2. If you notice your lens is just about flat all the way around like a nickel, now the safety bevel is going onto your lens. So Dr. Scott in Dallas, what kind of doctor are you? You need to do something for your Mavs. They've been making the playoffs, doing a late run in the playoffs, but not this year. San Antonio, your sister city in the state of Texas, is looking extremely strong. It's going to be hard to beat them. Miami's going to have to bring their A game. Of course, it took 7 games to beat them in last year's finals, but Game 7 was in Miami. This year, it's going to be in San Antonio. The NBA Finals may be in Texas this year, at least where they cut down the nets. So out comes your lens from the Chuck, from the Charles. Now I'm going to dry everything off again. Back to the handstone for the safety bevel. Back to scraping that off. Oops, it's falling on the counter. Okay, this time let's ramp it off good. Woo! Onto the floor. Love doing that. Okay, so let's see if it works. I'm going to tuck your lens in the outside corner closest to me using my thumbs. I'm going to, oops, it's still alive. It's still alive. Using my thumbs, I'm going to press down at the nose. It snaps in perfectly. I'm going to take the chuck off since it is no longer needed. The block, excuse me, not the chuck. And I want to dry this off again one last time. And your pupillary distance is 68. I'm going to put the 0 next to my thumb on the right lens. And now I'm going to measure with the left lens. I'm getting 68, 2 tick marks before 70, so that your pupillary distance is perfect. Although there is no astigmatism correction, but I just want to make sure this reads plus 3. Plus 3 it is. I do want to clean your lenses off before shipping to you. And I'm going to get your frame in standard alignment. Now, 99% of all optical shops will do free adjustments if you ask them. But I'm still going to go ahead. And of course, this rubber grips so well, you may not need any adjustments needed. But I just want to clean everything off, and now I'm going to hold it up to the light to inspect to make sure there are no blemishes before shipping to you. Perfect. Now, I want your frame in a 3-point stance. The 3 points are 1, 2, and the bottom of the frame being 3. Then when I press down, there is no wobble where I have one ear that's higher than the other, so my frames do wobble on the counter. I'm going to flip it over, press down, there is no wobble, make sure that each temple overlaps perfectly, and they do. So that is that. Again, if these are too loose, too tight, or just crooked on one side, just stop by your local optical shop and they take care of that for you. How's that for a cool funhouse mirror effect as you see the lenses in the background? So that's that. If anyone has any questions about what I can and can't do, although there's very little of what I can't do, but just email me at freeprescriptionlenses@gmail.com. And Dr. Scott, I hope you enjoyed watching your glasses being made and you have a little bit of insight to see how I bring that love and feeling back to glasses. Thank you.